Oh, well, I said, he told his David, won't you go out and bring me leather?
I had heard all the symphonies there were and all the chamber music and the best jazz, and I said, this is the greatest music. There were 50 black men who were working under the whip and the gun, and they had the soul to make the most wonderful song I'd ever heard. And they had not only that, but scores more.
Allan Lomax spent a lifetime documenting obscure music, and of everything he put down on tape, the prison work song, "Po Lazarus," was a favorite. The song is nothing more than the mournful sounds of black convicts and their axes striking wood in rhythm. Lomax recorded the song in 1959 as 8 black prisoners chopped wood working under the Delta sun in the yard of Camp B of the Mississippi Penitentiary's notorious Parchman farm. The song served a practical purpose. There were fewer injuries if everyone swung their axe in unison, but to the prisoners, they were a source of strength and of hope. Parchman inmate 2464 recalls.
And you can't get behind on them strokes. Every time that axe go up, it's got to come back down. You can't just hold it up there. You got to let it fall. That made the work more of a plaything than really work. It was more consolation to a guy. You get more work did singing. Made the day slide by a little easier.
The recording of Po Lazarus was released along with other prison songs, but it remained obscure. Prison work songs are not chart toppers, but then something happened, and oh brother, was it big. Producer T-Bone Burnett decided to use the very recording for the opening scene of the popular movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It sets the tone as George Clooney and 2 other inmates break away from a chain gang, head for the bushes, and adventures based on the Greek classic, The Odyssey. Po Lazarus is also the first cut on the soundtrack album. Lomax is in poor health. His daughter, Anna Lomax Cheritakis, carries on his work and shares his passion for the music and the people who made it. She was delighted that a new generation would hear her father's work, but was caught off guard by the public response.
Of course, as soon as the Oh Brother album took off, which nobody anticipated that.
So far, the soundtrack has sold more than 6 million copies. As royalties poured in, the foundation that preserves the work of Lomax tried to figure out what to do with the money. Inmate 2464 was James Carter. He was the main singer. Was he still alive? Could they even find him? They searched prison and Social Security records and discovered he was paroled in Chicago in 1967. They tried all of the James Carters in the phone book, hired a genealogical search firm, and still couldn't find him, until a volunteer named Chris Greer contacted his wife through the storefront church where she was a minister. Cheritakis spoke with her by phone.
And she was very reluctant. It's very natural because, we had to ask if he had been in Parchman Penitentiary. And that's just not a usual way to begin an acquaintanceship, with a stranger. I just said to her, Mrs. Carter, I can understand how you might feel hearing from total strangers who are also asking if your husband was in prison. But I hope you'll come to understand that this is about something really, really nice.
In time, Rosie Lee Carter was persuaded. But revisiting Carter's past and the convictions for robbery, theft, and possessing a gun was not something the children like Elizabeth Scott wanted to do.
And people just felt it was sensitive and you just put it behind. In order to put some things behind, sometimes you just have to let it go. And when you let it go the bitterness and whatever else that was attached to it. You can live with a person for years and you think you know them, and you actually really don't know. There's always a part there that you don't know about. And this is just something that was hidden, that was now revealed, and it's a good thing.
Cheritakis and 2 others who helped track Carter down went to Chicago to meet him. Cheritakis gave Carter a mounted platinum CD for the wall, a letter from her dad, and his first royalty check, $20,000.
I think they were all, kind of shocked in a pleasant way.
Though he received songwriting royalties, Carter says he didn't write the tune.
The convicts were singing it when I got there. They probably had been singing it years before I got there. I'm proud of it now. It put a smile on my family's face. That's the big thing.
He vaguely recalls the day the prison song was recorded by Lomax.
Well, I was kind of glad to see him because that took us over the task. Yeah, there was other songs, but I didn't forget them. When I came out of Parchman, I was through with songs and anything that connected with Parchman. I don't want no part of it.
Hearing the songs and thinking back to those times is not pleasant to him.
And now is the only time that those songs ever meant anything to me.
Carter says he hasn't sung Po Lazarus since the day he left Parchman.
I'm through singing.
But his family has embraced the tune. Daughter Elizabeth explains.
The music behind this record go far deeper than the ears can hear. There's a very spiritual, deep root connotation to this music. When you hear this record, you can actually feel the spirit of those men back there chopping that wood. And this is something that can never be erased from history. So it was like destined to come out. So I look at Po Lazarus as a positive thing, even though people might look at an outlaw song or whatever, but it's not just an accident that they were singing Po Lazarus. They were singing it for a reason. And the connotation of Po Lazarus being raised from the dead is just like this song being raised from the dead, because this song actually was risen from the dead.
Carter and the family even went Hollywood to the Grammy Award ceremonies, where the record won several awards, including Best Soundtrack and Album of the Year. It continues to place high on the music charts. Is it his proudest achievement?
No, I don't believe I was there. It was this. There's 2 or 3 other things I have a reason to be more proud of than that.
Anna Lomax Cheritakis says her father, the man who preserved the music, is equally as happy.
I think the recognition is the most important thing, because it's so rare that a song like this, I don't remember any instance of a song of this genre being on a hit record. It's presented in its entirety in all of its glory and beauty. And the wonderful thing is that the person who led the song and who was there is still alive and is getting the recognition and the glory and the attention that is most usually recorded to the superstars. And I think that's just absolutely fantastic.
Well, they take and pull out, then they laid him on the commissary galley. He said, my wounded side.